name is Compagnon. I'm 30 years old. I'm originally from Springdale, but I'm now living in Deer Lake. I'm married. I have a sweet little girl who's 3.5 years old, and her name is Emma. I grew up in a church atmosphere. I went to youth. I helped on the worship team. I helped in the nursery. So that atmosphere is not new to me. Over the years in youth group, I experienced some hardships. So instead of turning to God, I turned to the world, and that's where I kind of fell into a spiral. So after I graduated, I moved to Grand Falls, and I went to hairstyling school, and I kind of got the freedom to do whatever I wanted. So I really fell, on that slippery slope of who I am and who I was becoming, and it was so confusing at that age. In my early 20s, I moved to Corner Brook, and I got a job at a salon there. So I got to meet all different kinds of women and develop different friendships over the time. I was still trying to figure out who I was, and I think at that point I just wanted people to like me. So I kind of changed my personality, I guess, to make people to like me, and probably participate in a couple of things that wasn't normally like me, but again, still trying to figure out who I was. When I moved to Corner Brook, that's when I started partying even more, and going out on the weekends was like a constant thing. That's all anyone ever done. And sometimes during the weeknights too, all depending what the girls wanted to do, but that was a normal thing at that point for my life. And then it came to one night, I think it was a Friday night. We were at a friend's house partying, and I drank a lot of alcohol that night. I had to work the next morning, and I didn't want to leave my vehicle at my friend's house. So I had the idea to drive my vehicle home, and at this point I was really intoxicated, and the whole while I was driving home, I was saying to myself, I shouldn't be driving, I'm like, this is crazy, what am I doing, type of deal. And on the way home, the police car flashed their lights at me, but I still kept on going, and I didn't know at this point what they wanted or tell me to slow down. So I arrived to the destination, and the police car ended up following me to my place. I confessed everything. I could easily said, no, I wasn't drinking tonight or anything like that, but I came clean. So they took me in the back of the police car, and then I done a breathalyzer. So obviously I failed, and they brought me to the police station, and the whole while I was driving there, I was thinking, how did I get here? How did I get into this mess? Like, who am I? Like, this is not like me. This is not who I was raised to be. And I just felt so hopeless. I felt like I was absolutely nothing at this point. After dealing with that and telling the news to my parents, I eventually had to go to court. Lost my license for an entire year. So that was really hard. And that's when I got really heavily involved with experimenting in different kinds of drugs. I definitely contemplated my life a lot during this time. I think my lowest moment was I was at the bar, and I was surrounded by so many people, but yet inside I felt so lonely. And I came home, and there was no one there. I was living by myself. So I thought to myself, I'm around these people all the time, but yet I feel so empty. There's nothing there for me. So I feel like that was my moment to really start thinking, what am I doing in life, right? So that summer, when I decided to turn my life around and I was doing the best, that's when I met my now husband. We dated for 2 years, and then I became pregnant. I'm going to say it was a year after I had her, I started to question, okay, so how am I supposed to raise my daughter? I know how I was raised. So I remember one night coming home and just sitting there and thinking that my daughter was up asleep, was in her crib asleep, and here she was, this precious little thing, and I felt so guilty for how I was still living. So after a while of kind of fighting those thoughts and really questioning things, people started to slowly walk into my life and sit in my chair at work, and we began to have conversations that slowly softened my heart. So I thank God for placing the right people in my path, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them sitting in my chair and having those conversations to really encourage me. I attended a ladies' Bible study, and I started to get involved in different women's ministries at church. So through there I found nothing but welcoming people, and I felt so comfortable and like I've knew them my entire life, and I formed awesome friendships through those people. So I began on a journey of seeking God, of who He really is, and He definitely showed me in my personal time. And I've experienced so many different things, but one incident stands out. I was on my treadmill one morning and I was running, and all of a sudden I started having these thoughts of the past, and different experiences just flood through my mind. I stopped and I just began to weep and cry. And I closed my eyes, and this bright light just shone. And I felt this blanket of peace just wash right over me. And I truly haven't felt anything like it before in my entire life. Like I was wiped clean. And I actually remember I could visually see hands, and I saw 2 spots where the nails were in Jesus' hands to show the hands were wiped clean. So thanks God for showing me that visually, and it's just truly remarkable to have that experience like no other. When I put God number 1 in my personal life, my family life, and my relationship, I had no fear of the future. I have no fear or anxiety, any worries how God will provide for me and my family. So that's one thing that really changed, is fear of the future. My message of encouragement is, no matter what you've done in your life, no matter where you are, and no matter how low you feel, that God is always with you. God never left me through any of the things that I've been through. And He is there knocking at the door. All you gotta do is open it up. And encouragement to the parents, the praying parents. Don't give up on your children that walked away, as long as they know and the seed has been sown, even as a little kid. Deep down inside, they know the way and they know how they should be living, and to never give up hope. I'm so thankful for Jesus, because He's never given up on me, and He'll certainly never give up on you.